I'm top relator Realtor Scott Garrison with ReMax Town and Country, here with my partner Deanna Sokoto, and we are at a closing. That's Robert and Diane. Yay!
Yay!
And we wanted to just take a second and ask them a little bit about their experience so that you could see what it's like to work with us. So tell us about your experience, and then I'll ask you a couple of questions. So how did it go for you?
Oh, it was very good and quick and thorough.
Good. So you originally met because your son hired me to sell their home in Lakeland.
That's correct.
And you decided you want to move to Oviedo.
To be near him. Yes.
So with their son, I helped their son sell their home in Lakeland, and then we bought a home in Oviedo. And then they were out looking, and I found out, and their son connected us. So we helped you sell your home in Lakeland.
That's right.
And then we were doing a simultaneous closing the same day. They're buying a home in Oviedo to be near their son and their daughter. What if you were thinking about hiring a realtor back then, what do you think is important for someone to know about the process, the experience? What were your concerns that you found out actually weren't concerns?
Experience, I guess. Experience.
And how quickly the house would sell. So the marketing was amazing.
Thanks for saying that. So originally, we decided to ask on the medium or the higher side for your home, do you think, the one in Lakeland?
We went for the higher side.
We went on the higher side, for sure. And I thought it was interesting. You told me about your neighbor who came over after we put the home on the market. We were on for about 2 days, and your neighbor came over, and what did they tell you?
It didn't look like a real house. Thought our furniture and everything was fake.
They thought the pictures were fake.
Yeah, they said the pictures were fake, yeah. And I was like, nope, that's my house.
They were so good that the neighbor didn't believe it was actually her house. And here's how good they were. How long did it take us to sell your house? About
2 days.
2 days, and we sold it for, asking on the high price, we sold it for
$5,000 more than asking price.
Over full price, which is pretty good results. And it actually was the highest that I think anyone's gotten in your neighborhood so far. So,
could be, yeah.
Which is really exciting. But the hardest part, really, when you're moving, you're more concerned about where you were going. And I remember at the time you were more concerned about where you were going. Right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And so tell us about your experience looking at homes. Was it what you expected? Was it easier or harder when we were actually out looking at homes?
Well, it was a fairly painless process, and Diana helped us, took us around and showed us a number of houses, and we found one that we loved, and fortunately it lasted long enough for us to
because we
sell our
sold it in
house
3
and
days.
still be
We were able to get it.
Yeah.
It did. And was that the first house?
2
Did you
days.
get the first house that you made the offer on, or did we make other
Nope.
offers?
No, that was the first one.
First
I
one.
remember with your son, we had to make about 4 or 5
Yeah.
offers.
Yeah.
We finally got one that stuck.
Yeah,
Good. And we got a pretty good deal on the home?
I think
Yeah,
so.
we think
Yes.
so. Yeah, we're very happy.
Okay, good. Is there anything else that you could say to somebody who was thinking about hiring us?
If you're thinking about Scott and Diana to sell your house, don't hesitate. They're great.
There we go. We want you to be right here too. So call us. We'll make it happen.